Thank you, everyone, and good morning. All right, just a few Matted updates. First of all, Matted has been busy preparing for the upcoming workers' compensation renewal and audit season. Yay! Um, some stuff that's coming your way. Invoices will be emailed and sent out at the end of this month, so end of October. And audits begin January 1st, 2026. An email, just like they have in the last couple of years, will be sent to the clerk and treasurer. If neither one of them have an email, we will send that to the chair. So please make sure that your email and your contact information is updated. We're encouraging members to review and update their contact information to ensure all invoices, policy documentation, and audit materials are received by the correct township contacts. And if you have had any changes, feel free to email us at mattedinsurance@mntownships.org. Just a quick reminder as winter approaches, please remind township officials to focus on safety and loss preventions, meaning keep walkways and parking areas clear of snow and ice, ensure exterior lighting is functioning properly. I can speak this morning. And reminder, private drives are excluded under MADIT policies. We have received a lot of questions regarding that, and we love Susie down the street, but unfortunately we are not unable to plow her street every time it snows. So just keep that in mind. And if you guys have any questions at all, please feel free to contact MADIT. Again, it's mattedinsurance@mntownships.org. And we're open to any questions. Thank you.
Thanks, Lisa.
All right, thank you.
Gussie, you want to take it away? You're muted, Gussie.
Oh, now you can hear me. You asked for it. Here I am. All right. So I just want to remind everybody that if you look in your email right now, you're going to see that we have a new clerk. It's actually new and refresher courses for clerks and treasurers training that's coming up in November. There are going to be a lot of opportunities for you. So several different dates and times. We're going to start out with Wednesday, November 12th, which is the day after Veterans Day. We're going to have a 9 a.m. to noon training and a 1 to 4. Then we're also going to go with that same format. We're going to have the sessions will all have the same information. You can also come in on Thursday, the next day, which would be November the 13th from 9 a.m. to noon and 1 to 4. And we're going to have them the following week on Tuesday, November 18th and Thursday, November 20th. Same times, 9 to noon, 1 to 4. Choose one. So there are going to be 8 opportunities to come in and get training, new clerk and treasurer and refresher. Let me tell you, this is a good program because what it's going to allow you to do is to go back through things that we think we know. And even we've stumped the trainers. So this is something we need to take a look at again, refresh our minds on what we need to be doing as clerks and treasurers. And there's a lot of information there. So I'm hoping that we can get some new information out there. And I know Maddie's probably got some things coming up for paid leave. And I know there's some deadlines coming up. So I'm going to remind everybody of the deadlines. Keep our trainings in mind, keep the conferences in mind, and we're going to have some great speakers there, just the people you want to hear. And I'm going to turn it over to Maddie because she's got all the information. Thanks, Maddie.
Thanks, Gussie. Maybe not all of the information, but as much as I can muster. All right, I forgot to introduce myself, but for those of you who are new here, my name is Maddie Cash. I'm an attorney with Matt. We do this every first and third Tuesday of the month. We just cover a topic that maybe hasn't been covered in a while or might be of interest to townships or maybe something we've been getting a lot of questions on. So if you have ideas, please send them to me. I want to share with you what you want to hear. I don't want to bore your ears off. So, but today I will be talking about health benefits for township staff. before that, I'm going to jump into a few updates from Matt. So I'll start with that first, but then I'll get into the health benefits stuff. I can see the chat. So if you have questions, feel free to put it in there. And I will try to answer them as we go. Otherwise, my information is on the first and last slide. You can always reach out to me directly.
We'll help you out with chat too, Maddie.
Okay, thanks, Jeff. All right, so health benefits. It says you can all see my screen, so I hope that's true. Good, thanks, Pat. Okay, so health benefits. It's not something that's really popular for a lot of townships, but I just want to make sure everybody's aware that it is an option, that it does exist for some townships. Some townships have been interested in it. So I want to make sure you know the details surrounding it. But first, I'm going to talk a little bit about updates. Okay, my screen there, finally. Okay. All right, I want to highlight our upcoming annual conference, which will be held in December from the 11th through the 13th in St. Cloud River's Edge Convention Center. You can register online. We encourage you to bring a spouse or a guest along. They do have less expensive rates if you choose to do so. It's a great opportunity to connect with other township officers. It's a great opportunity to connect with our staff and to really learn about new laws, new requirements, new legislation, share ideas, and kind of be the most productive township officer you can be. So I really encourage you to get out there, get information from our office, as well as from outside attorneys who work with townships regularly and get to know them. So again, registration's on our website. You can take a look at that, and you can also register on site, but it is a little bit more expensive to do that. Next, I want to jump into paid leave. That's been a really hot topic for a lot of township officers, I've noticed. We did create a sample premium sharing resolution for townships to use. It's on our website. It's in the employee section at the very bottom. It's the most recent document. So if you scroll down to the bottom, you can see it there. It only discusses premium sharing in the resolution. Now, I think there's been a little bit of confusion about premium sharing, so I'll talk about that in a second. But remember, you need to notify all your employees of these requirements by December 1st. And that needs to include the premium amount. So you want to make sure to make this decision before then. There's sample notices available on the deed website for these notices. You have to notice individual employees and more generally. So you want to make sure you take a look at they have two separate sample notices that you'll want to take a look at on there. If you can't find them, let me know and I can point them out to you too. But the premium rate is the percentage of an employee's wages that will be collected from the state by the state from employers. So it's currently set at 0.88%. Now, townships can choose how much of the premium rate they pay for employees, but they must at least pay 50% of that. They can choose to pay 100%, 50% in between. And if you qualify for a small employer, which I'm sure many townships do, that's less than 30 employees who make less than 150% of the average annual wage, then you can pay half of that 50%, so 25%, which comes up to 0.22%. So this is your decision. It's a decision your board will need to make, but I think there's a lot of confusion with all those percentages and amounts. So if you come across any questions, please reach out to me and I can help you navigate that. All right, does anyone have questions on paid leave before I get started into the health benefits portion? The next reporting is due October 31st, I believe. So you want to make sure you do that too. Okay. All right, so let's talk about the legal authority to offer health benefits for your employees. So the legal foundation. So under Minnesota statute section 471.61, towns, like any other political subdivision or employers in general, may provide group insurance for their employees, officers, and dependents. That could be health insurance, dental insurance, those types of things. So it is optional for you to do. You have a means to do that. That means you can decide whether to offer insurance at all, what kinds of insurance you offer, health, dental, vision, life, disability, and how much of that premium, if any, the town is going to pay. So you have a lot of leeway there on what that looks like. There is no requirement that the town provides health benefits. It's just an option to you. It's entirely up to the board on whether they want to do that or how that looks for your township. If you do offer them, they are part of the compensation of the employee. It's an employee compensation. It's not a gift. So if you offer them, it's not because one of your officers got hurt and then you are giving them extra money to help them pay for those medical expenses, right? That can't be the process. It has to be through their employee compensation. And that distinction matters in terms of tax benefits, and because you are prohibited from giving benefits or not benefits, bonuses and gifts to township officers. So you have to be very careful about that distinction. So that being said, any decision to provide these benefits should be done by motion or resolution, recorded in your minutes, and clearly tied to the employment or officer's duties, or officer's compensation, I should say. So who can receive these benefits? Who can go to the doctor? First, township employees. The board has discretion to define who qualifies for that. If you want to give it to full-time employees only, usually it's based off of hours worked like that, full-time, part-time, working more than 30 hours per week, those kinds of things. But it is important to be consistent in that distinction. So if you offer coverage to one full-time employee, you want to make sure that you offer similar coverage to similar employees. It should be offered to anyone who meets that same kind of criteria that you have laid out and defined, preferably in a policy, right? If your employees are unionized, health insurance becomes a mandatory subject of collective bargaining, typically under PELRA. So any changes to premium contributions, plan. We set the criteria spelling. Sorry, Pat, I don't understand.
I didn't know how to spell criteria. That's so.
Oh, yes, I gotcha. Okay, I think you're right on that.
For
Okay,
township employees,
You
you
nailed
can
it,
do
Pat.
for anybody, or you have to set a. I mean, can you say any part time or anything like that, or do you? And we set that. We get to decide it and put it in a resolution or a motion.
yeah, it just has to be similar employees receiving similar benefits. So you can't single out an employee that you like and offer them health benefits while not offering others health benefits. So it has to be specific to a group of employees if you're going to limit it, right? But they have to be employees of the township or elected officials. So, and that, when it comes to unionized employees, that can be different because it's a part of that collective bargaining agreement. So any changes to the premiums, the contributions, the plans, options, that kind of thing is negotiated and agreed upon. So if you want to change any of that, you have to re-enter into those negotiations. So it's a little more complex once you get to unionized. employees. You can also offer this to elected officials, including board members, clerks, treasurers, but whether you include them is up to the board. That's optional. So some towns allow officers to join the township's health plan with the township paying part or all of the premium, and others allow officers to buy into the plan at their own expense entirely. If you include officers, it's best to specify that they are eligible on the same terms as the employees to avoid fairness concerns, right? You want to avoid any appearance of impropriety or giving yourself kind of extra bonuses compared to the other township employees, but that is just a best practices kind of thought. And then we get to volunteers and contractors. So generally volunteers like election judges, fire department volunteers are not eligible for group health coverage through the township. Townships typically purchase health insurance through a group plan, and those plans set eligibility rules based on employee status and minimum hours worked often. So typically they do not qualify for those, and it can sometimes cause tax concerns if you attempt to do so. So if you want to try to work around that, I don't suggest it, but you want to work with a tax professional to make sure you're not violating any issues there. All right, so why would we offer health benefits, right? We're already working with so much, we already do so much. Why even think about it? So I get the question all the time of we're having trouble keeping staff, right? We're having trouble recruiting staff, getting people to work for the community. And that could be a really good recruitment tool. It's not required. Again, you don't have to do this, but it is one of the most valued parts of compensation packages. And small employers, for small employers like townships, it can make a big difference in finding and keeping good people. So first is retention and stability. Most of you know how much time and effort it takes to train a good clerk and treasurer and even maintenance worker, road maintenance worker. Those are all specialized positions. They involve not just day-to-day work, but knowledge of township records, procedures, local roads, those kinds of things. So there is a lot of work that goes into it. And when an experienced employee leaves, you don't just lose a person, you lose that institutional knowledge that they have. And it can take a long time, months, to get a new employee to fill that position and get them up to speed. And sometimes the township doesn't have that kind of time, right? So offering benefits like health insurance is just kind of another tool to show employees that the township values their long-term service, and it's an investment to keep them from looking elsewhere. And then recruitment. Many townships are competing for employees in the same labor pools with nearby cities, counties, private employers, all of which provide health care coverage. If neighboring cities offer health insurance and your township doesn't, it can be hard to attract qualified candidates, even if your wages are competitive, and maybe they're not, but even so, it's just another tool in your toolbox to help bring people in. Even if it's partial coverage or access to a group plan, the township becomes a more attractive employer either way, especially for skilled workers like equipment operators or clerks or treasurers with accounting experience. It can just be an attractive addition. Also, morale. Employees who feel supported are more likely to take pride in their work and stay engaged. When benefits are part of the compensation package, it communicates that the township cares about the health and well-being of its employees, not just what they can produce. And it translates to a higher morale in the workplace, better performance, fewer attendance issues. And then finally, continuity. In small townships, it's often one or two people handling all of the administrative and maintenance work. Losing one key person can slow down operations immensely. And create a lot of problems. So by offering these additional benefits, you can ensure consistent staffing and support the board's ability to meet its responsibilities. And what about the cost, right? Of course, that is a big concern. It's expensive, and it's something to consider. But sometimes you can also consider the cost of that position constantly being turned over. That costs money too. Advertising a position, training a replacement, catching up on backlog. You can consider those costs against what it would cost to provide kind of extra benefits. So while they're optional, it's just another tool in your toolbox to potentially keep people in the township and working. All right. Gussie, if the employer township pays the employee's portion of the leave, does the employee claim that as income on their taxes? Are you talking about paid leave?
Yes, I am. So I'm drifting, you know.
Yeah, that's okay.
Something I didn't get to ask before. So
Yeah. So if the employer township pays the employee's portion of the paid leave, does the employee claim that as income on their taxes? Oh, okay. So if they're paying the other 50%, if they choose not to pay the 100% of the premiums, you mean?
if the employee, say the township says, I'm going to pay for everybody's paid leave, your side and our side. So that's a benefit then to the employee or the supervisor. So would they have to claim that benefit then on their taxes? Would that be
You know,
something?
that's a good question. I'd have to double check on whether they'd have to do that. I don't have the answer for you right away. I'm sorry.
Sorry to
I'd have
throw
to
that
look
one
at
in.
staff too. No, that's okay. There's so much with paid leave, and it's constantly changing. So it's just, I don't want to claim something and then for it to be different than.
Sorry to throw that in there, but it was a question I had. So it's from from a township. So
No, that's a good question.
thank you.
Pat, hey, if the topic of paid leave is up again, you mentioned the reporting was coming up on the 31st. Is that just through unemployment reporting that we do as a quarterly? Yep. So reporting on paid leave is quarterly. It's through the unemployment insurance program. If you don't have any employees who aren't on who are on unemployment insurance, then you can create a paid leave only account through that program. So they're running both programs right now in terms of reporting. But yeah, it's same date, same information. So if you're already doing that for unemployment, it's a really simple process. But if you haven't been doing that because you don't have those employees, then you have to create a separate account and submit 2 different reports if you have both kinds of employees. All right, paying for healthcare benefits and budgeting. A town can pay all or part or none of the premium. Some towns choose to pay for 100% of the employee and 0% for dependents. Others pay a fixed dollar amount. It really depends on what works for you. If a township offers a group health plan but does not pay any portion of the premium, the township itself does not incur health insurance expenses beyond the administrative costs of doing that. So employees cover the full premium amount, but they can still benefit at group rates or pre-tax payroll deductions, and the township remains responsible for plan administration and compliance as the sponsoring employer of that plan. So whatever you decide, it's important to obviously budget for it. Health premiums can increase yearly, so include those in your annual levy discussions and those kinds of things. But avoid informal reimbursements or one-off payments for medical costs. Those can certainly look like gifts or bonuses and can create some issues for the township. I really strongly suggest you adopt a written policy if you are going to endeavor into providing benefits like this, stating who's eligible, what the township pays, and how coverage is administered. That would protect both the township and the employees. How does this work with elected officials that are serving a 4-year term? Nancy, are you talking about paid leave or are you talking about health insurance? Can you guys hear me? Yeah, okay. Nancy, can you clarify? Oh, either one. They're changing. Okay, yeah. So paid leave is a state-run program. So it's separate from health insurance. It's a paid leave program that allows you to take longer leave. So in terms of paid leave, elected officials, you have to report on their wages. Now, whether they can benefit from paid leave is a different question. They have to earn a certain amount of money before they can benefit from that. How they would be able to take that paid leave is really a big question mark. In terms of elected officials, it doesn't necessarily make a ton of sense for elected officials, but we are still required to submit those wage detail reports for elected officials. Now, offering health insurance for elected officials, if they're serving that 4-year term, then you would offer that within their 4-year term, unless they are employed by the township after that in some way. Okay, so adopt a policy that you want to make sure you do that if you dive into health insurance. Whoopsies. Okay, so options. What are options for health insurance? First, there are group insurance plans, right? Just the typical insurance plans. I know there's some that go through, I believe it's MDA or MBA. Sorry, I can't recall the acronym, but they offer health insurance plans. Otherwise, there's other MBA. Thank you. That use that insurance. I don't know what their rates are. I haven't gotten into any of that conversation, but there are group insurance plans available. You can work with other townships who have maybe dealt with insurance shopping and those kinds of things. Otherwise, do it independently. There's also, if you have employees covered under high deductible plans, you can set up a HRA or a HSA savings account to help cover out-of-pocket costs. Just make sure it's done under a compliant plan. And then stipends or reimbursements. Some towns prefer to give a monthly amount to help an employee purchase their own health plan. It has to be really carefully structured in a pre-tax arrangement, not a flat taxable payment that could look like a gift. So if you do choose to do that, you want to work with a tax professional to make sure you're not diving into that territory. And then joint purchasing. Some towns could partner with neighboring cities or counties or join an association pool to qualify for better group rates or to qualify for a group rate at all, right? So that's also an option if you want to think about that. Would MADIT ever consider acting as broker for a large group of townships so that more reasonable costs could be obtained? Our township supervisors always feel like it's too expensive. I buy it and it's gone up 20 to 40% each year. That's a good question, Allison. So I think we've had discussions about it in the past before I was here. I think it's a matter of appetite, really. So if it's something that a lot of townships have a big appetite for, maybe we would consider it, but at the time we don't offer health insurance or anything like that.
Matt, if I could, our charter as an association does not allow us to be a broker. For
Thanks,
that
Jeff.
meeting. Yeah.
That's probably why those discussions discontinued. All right. Common pitfalls. Okay. Continued coverage. So most townships are too small to be covered by COBRA, but if they offer any group health insurance, they must follow Minnesota's continuation coverage law. This gives departing employees the right to keep their health insurance plan at their own cost for up to 18 months. That there's notice requirements and premium collecting requirements for that as well. So be aware of that. There are reporting requirements. You have to make sure that contributions are handled correctly for tax purposes. So you want to work with a tax professional to figure that out. And then record keeping, obviously every board action from authorizing benefits to paying premiums should be in your minutes. It's part of your duty to do so. So you want to make sure that that's clear. And then consistency, as I mentioned before, if you offer benefits to one employee, then you have to offer them to similarly situated employees. Unequal treatment can cause morale issues or even legal risks. So you want to be careful about that. And then you want to review this policy annually. You want to create a policy and review it because costs change. And you want to make sure that you are budgeting for that. So the key points for all this is that your townships are allowed but not required to offer health benefits. Decisions about who gets covered and how much the township pays must be approved by the board and recorded. You always want to treat benefits as compensation, not as gifts or one-off payments, and consider your options. Go shopping, work with other townships if it's something that's an interest to you, and keep everything consistent and document the consistency. That's all I have today. Here's my information. Does anybody else have any questions for me before I let you all continue your day?
I just want
All
to
right.
comment your little thing here that says Maddie Cash. It looks like you want money.
I'll take it, Pat, if you're offering. No, it's just a play on my last name. All right. Well, everybody have a wonderful afternoon, and I will see you next time.
Thanks, Maddie.